Colonial Sports Center.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Colonial Sports Center. It's a new year, a new semester. We have a new intro, but the same top guys giving you some information about Colonial Sports. My name is Kevin Plaucha. Joining me is Cameron Macariola. Cam, we've been gone for over a month now. There is a ton to get to today.
Yeah, a lot of RMU athletics games going on everywhere. We were at the UPMC Lemieux complex. We're down at Clearview. There was just so many games and so much to hop into, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, we got to get right into it. We're going to start with women's basketball, who took on Detroit Mercy last night. Colonials had lost 7 straight coming into tonight's game, looking to rebound. It's been tough sledding for them lately, but we'll see if they can get back on track here as they took on the Detroit Mercy Titans at home at the UPMC Event Center. Kicking things off in the first quarter, we're actually going to start with the tip-off here. It's Titans versus Colonials. And Detroit Mercy is going to win this tip, and they're going to dominate the first quarter. Flashing to the closing seconds, Tawana Koskun is going to take a 3 and make it. It's much needed to cut the Colonial deficit to 10, 15-5 after one quarter. Early second quarter, Colonials trying to get back into it. Natalie Johnson steals it, but is forced to pass after the speedy Mayana Hooper gets back. Danielle Vuletic backs down. Emma Trewali Porta gets her own rebound and puts just enough touch on that left-handed hook shot. Vuletic would finish with another double-double, her 4th of the season. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half, Trewali Porta is going to set up a nice give and go with Irene Marua, who gets it back to her through a triple team for the easy layup. Porta led all scorers with 14 points. Third quarter now, Colonials were down 10 at the break. Colonials try a give and go of their own, but Luella Alana is forced to pass outside to a wide open Rebecca Duomo, and she drains the 3. She finished with 9 points, all coming from beyond the arc. Early fourth quarter now, Alana kicks to Koskun, who makes her second 3 of the night. Limited minutes for Tawana Koskun, but a strong showing for the freshman, finishing with 8 points. Final few minutes now, RMU just never able to get anything going offensively. 22% from the floor, 18% from 3. Exclamation point here with this Michaela Jackson layup for the score. Colonials drop their 8th in a row, 56-39.
Yeah, Kevin, let's take a look at the Horizon League women's standings, and you'll see Robert Morris down there at 2-9 in conference play. And let's go back 3 games before that Detroit Mercy game. Green Bay 40-72 loss, Northern Kentucky 51-83 loss, Purdue Fort Wayne 36-64 loss. That's a minus 92 point differentials. 5 quarters in those 3 games. The Colonials only got single-digit points, and the worst one was Purdue Fort Wayne, where they only scored 4 points in the 4th quarter. Just rough offensive showings. In that Detroit Mercy game, they had a single-digit first quarter and shot 6 for 33 at half. Just tough shooting all around for the Colonials.
Yeah, something's got to give there. You know, they're averaging less than 58 points per game. It's really tough, especially in the Horizon League, to win games with less than 60 points. I know head coach Charlie Biscaglia likes to preach defense and being scrappy, but, you know, something's got to give. You see them at the bottom of the Horizon League conference standings. We'll see if they can rebound in their future games.
Yeah, and that's the women's basketball. So let's take a look at what men's basketball has been up to, and it has been a whirlwind for them. Let's hop into the men's basketball updates.
Game number 1 versus IUPUI. Now, this was a much-needed win for this team. Colonials had lost 3 in a row coming into this game. RMU shot over 60% from the floor. This was just a really nice get-right game, as you see that highlight slam from Stephon Walker. No player really stuck out on the box score, but just a really nice win, 92-48.
Yeah, let's take a look, see if the Colonials could follow that up, but they could not. Here we are, 5 minutes into the game, and they are down almost 20 at this point against the Wright State Raiders. Later on, down 20 in the second half. You'll see them just pour it on the Colonials, passing the triple-digit mark, 101-76 final.
Game number 3 versus Purdue Fort Wayne. Tony Lee honored pregame and inducted into RMU's Ring of Honor. An unexpected close game. RMU down 3. Josh Corbin for the tie, and he drains it. One of Corbin's 8 threes as they once again shot the lights out. Now the Mastodons have a chance. They're looking for the final shot in OT, but it's a travel by Quinton Morton Robertson to set up this play. You saw it on SportsCenter. Number 1, tipped up. Marquise Hastings for the win. It's good. The Moon Township Miracle gives RMU the upset win over Purdue Fort Wayne in a thriller.
Man, that crowd burst was unbelievable. The night was rocking. Look at this, broken play, but Hastings grabs it, turns, chucks it up, and bang, right at the buzzer. Thriller. It was a must-be-there event. And we'll hop into the Colonials against the 0-18 Detroit Mercy Titans, and this was the TJ Wainwright show. Crossing up the defender, throwing it up, and bang, 74-71. This game would, though, get tied up by Detroit Mercy and go into overtime. And here in overtime, Wainwright, his place to shine. Another deep pointer, but Detroit Mercy would tie it up again and have a chance to win it in overtime, but just off the front of the rim, and we are going to double overtime. The Colonials looking to survive against, again, 0-18 team. Justice Williams from the right side. Silky smooth, 96, 92, 102, 2 seconds left. Throwing up a prayer, but it won't be answered as the Colonials survive a close one. Another back-to-back overtime games, 102-99.
Colonials scored over 136 points from the free throw line in that game. Game number 5 at IUPUI. Colonials led basically the entire game. Once again, just a nice job by RMU to not have this be a letdown game after those last 2 hard-fought wins in OT. Josh Corbin finished with 20 points, and you can see here some nice defense as they get the rebound. Marquise Hastings tosses it to Josh Corbin for the layup. The Colonials win 80-63, and that is your men's basketball update. Cam, 4-1 in that stretch. There's some promising signs with the men's basketball team.
Yeah, there sure is. And you talk about their next 3 games. They go to Cleveland State for the first time since that playoff game where the clock somehow went out during their big run. And first time back there. Then travel to Oakland and Detroit Mercy again. So with these 3 of 4 games and the 3-game win streak they currently have, let's see if they can keep it going and ride that into the playoffs.
Definitely a big 3-game stretch coming up for the men's basketball team. Well, that was your basketball update. Now, when we come back, we're heading to the ice. It's all things hockey, including a deeper look at the teddy bear toss game from over the weekend. Stay tuned for that and more on CSC.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair into hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
Where are they? Shouldn't they be here by now?
Someone's gotta be here, guys. Like, for real.
Oh my God, Nate! Isn't it Thursday?
Oh crap.
Finally! About time.
Finally here.
Let's go!
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I think it is time to hop right on the ice and discuss what has been going on with the RMU hockey program. First season back after being cut, brought back. Let's see what they've been up to. We have the I-79 rivalry between the Mercyhurst Lakers and RMU Colonials. And here we go. Colonials looking to bounce back from a 6-1 shellacking the night before. We'll start off. Mercyhurst on the power play the night before. 4 for 5 on the power play, and they will continue this right here. You'll see them give it down to Chantel St. Croix in the corner, who drives the net, throws it on net underneath the right arm of Maggie Hatch. Colonials need to figure something out with this penalty issue. 114 power plays given up in 24 games. That's just under 5 penalties a game. Second period, Janelle Evans. Take a listen.
And she scores!
Fluffy bundles of cuddly joy raining down on the ice after the goal from Janelle Evans, set up by Elena Giampietro and Giampietro. Look at this, look at this. 250 teddy bears and those were all donated to Autism Pittsburgh. What a moment and great cause for the Colonials. Elena Giampietro, as I said, roaring down the ice, throws it on net. Not sure if it got deflected, but it still finds its way past, and a nice jump to put the Colonials up 2-1. Final 10 seconds, all heck's about to break loose. Let's take a look, and we'll see Maggie Hatch with the save. That was her 34th of the day. There is a reason why she's on the Hockey Commissioner Association's Goalie of the Year watch list with that victory. Bouncing back, she got pulled the night before. A great redemption game for her.
Yeah, a huge bounce back win for the women's hockey team, but we've got even more to look at now in the women's hockey update as the team took on 4 more challenges before those 2 games against Mercyhurst. We're going to take an in-depth look at how the women's hockey team has fared lately over the winter break and to the start of 2024. Game number 1, Bemidji State. Colonials looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. Looked good early on as Janelle Evans scored on the power play just 2 minutes in. This would be a theme in these 4 games, quick scoring. But Bemidji State's 2 goals in 9 seconds in the second period boosted them to the win. Colonials fall 3-1. Game 2 in the battle at the Berg against Maine. Colonials would once again score early as Callie Arnold and the Colonials strike first. Once again, just under 3 minutes in, they take the 1-0 lead. As you see it looked at again, nice goal there by Callie Arnold. The deflection off the goalie, right place, right time. Late first period, Maine working it around the top of their zone, and Frederique Guay answers and ties it at 1. Colonials would go on to lose 6-2. Guay would end up with 2 goals. Game 3 against Lindenwood, tied at 1 early second period. Elena Giampietro, we mentioned her a lot. Her 8th goal of the year gives the Colonials a 2-1 lead. RMU would extend their lead to 4-1 after goals by Jersey Phillips and Shaylin Snow. A very nice effort here by the Colonials.
Talk about a weird event here. You see them exiting the ice. There was an ammonia leak at the rink, and the game would have to be played the next day.
Coming back the next day, you see just over a minute left in the third period. A late goal by Sarah Davies makes it 4-2, but the Colonials would get back at Lindenwood and win 4-2. Game 2 against Lindenwood, Maya Nugent scores once again early. The Colonials strike first, and they're up 1-0. This one was 10 minutes in rather than 3. And we're moving on late in the third period, just 5 minutes left. Tied at 3, this was a barn burner, but this late goal here by Sydney Jackal puts Lindenwood up 4-3. They would extend to 5-3 with a late empty net goal, and the Colonials would go 1-1 against Lindenwood, falling by a score of 5-3. In that 4-game set, 1-3 in the women's hockey update.
Yeah, you could just see that Sunday Lindenwood was outplaying the Colonials. Just wasn't their day in both games, even the one period. But let's take a look at the standings. Robert Morris is slated nice right in the middle, just below Mercyhurst, who they split their series twice with them, and they got Penn State coming up soon after this weekend trip to Syracuse, who's surprisingly at the bottom with a 2-9-1 record in conference. Not used to seeing Syracuse down there, so weird times for the Colonials.
Definitely, but if they're gonna ever take a chance at getting to Penn State and Mercyhurst, it would be a good time to do it as they take on Syracuse.
Yeah, that's the women's hockey. Let's talk about men's hockey and see what they were up to, and it has not been an easy time for them. 6 of their last 8 games against ranked opponents, and let's take a look at how they fared against the national champion runner-ups, Minnesota Golden Gophers in the state of hockey. Early on, Cameron Garvey gets the deflection to put the Colonials up 1-0, but it's the number 12 team in the nation. 31-11 are the shots. Middlestat roaring in, makes a move, gets the defender lost in the sauce, and first round pick Oliver Moore by the Chicago Blackhawks taps it into the empty net. Man, what a skilled head fake. And then Flyers prospect Bryce Brodzinski roaring in on the breakaway. Makes it 4-2. Riley St. Ange would score that second goal for the Colonials. Not a bad showing against a number 12 team when it's your first year back. Game 2, here we have Mason Nevers, his first goal of the season. Look at the shots, 11-1. That's what's going to happen when you're facing a team that is unveiling brand new gold jerseys. Then you have their captain, Mike Koster, roaring down the middle, putting it in the top cheddar where mama hides the peanut butter, right over the top right shoulder of Chad Veltri. And then you have George Pretorius coming in, and Zacher with the rebound goal. Zacher, 5 goals and 10 assists, currently tied for the lead in points for the Colonials. And then this is where it gets ridiculous. Jimmy Snuggerud, fresh off of a gold medal in Sweden for the World Juniors. What a snipe. First round pick by the Blues. He is going to be a great NHL player. 4-1 win for the Golden Gophers. And let's hop right into the standings. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, listen, it's been tough sledding for the Colonials, but Cam, as you said, they've taken on some really tough competition, and I think even just scoring goals against Minnesota is definitely something to take away from that. But they sit right now at 2-9 in the conference, 6-14 overall. Hopefully they got over the hump of that hard, tough part of their schedule. Hopefully it'll ease up a little bit and they can make a little bit of a run to get out of the bottom.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do. They can do. They got some even more ridiculous competition coming up. But after this break, we have some breaking news in the soccer team and much more to cover. So stick here on CSC.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Let's CSC women's basketball.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. So as Cam mentioned, we have some breaking news coming. Even though it's the off-season for the soccer teams, there's still some news as the head coach, former head coach of the RMU women's soccer team, Chris Shaw, resigned and announced on January 4th over winter break that he will be taking the head coach position at Temple. Caught up with Shaw, and he had to speak about his time at RMU.
Yeah, it's a tough loss for the RMU program, but a well-deserved job promotion for Chris Shaw. His 3 years here, he has just taken this Colonials team to unbelievable levels. Let's take a look at his resume. His 3 years, 25, 30, and 10, and 19, 25, and 6 conference record. Improved the win total each and every year. Led the team to the first Horizon League playoff berth and a win in 2023. Program record, 12 wins, and just look at the players that he had. Just talk about that, Kevin.
Yeah, listen, it's definitely going to be a tough loss because they were peaking at the right time. And you saw there on the graphic that Karu Hayashi was the first student athlete in program history to garner U.S. Coaches Scholar, All-American, and all-conference first-team honors. So what Shaw was able to do in his 4 seasons at RMU, as you mentioned, the win total increased every year, 12 wins last season and a berth in the Horizon League playoff tournament. Just awesome, awesome job by Chris Shaw, and the head coaching search is still open.
Yeah, with him leaving, hopefully the skill level doesn't leave with the program. I think with the way that it's gone over the years, a coaching change won't stop the momentum of Robert Morris, and we'll see what they can do next year. It's going to be a fun time. But speaking of new coaches, women's lacrosse is released their schedule, and their new coach, Courtney Grove, is ready to take on the fierce competition. Let's take a look at this schedule. A lot of familiar foe for the Colonials. Ohio State, Cincinnati, Bucknell, Queens they played last year, Canisius they played last year, and then you hop into their conference play. But Kevin, I want you to look at this. Pitt and Duquesne. Ooh, am I excited to watch those games. Duquesne will be here under the lights. Pitt is going to be against the crosstown rival. It's going to be a fun season for women's lacrosse. We can see if they can finally, they've met the same team, Cincinnati, Central Michigan, in the championship, MAC championships the last 3 years. Took the first one, dropped the last two. We will see this year if they can get back and kind of even out the series.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. As you said, those familiar conference foes, but Pitt and Duquesne, my goodness, the crosstown rivalry.
Under the lights.
Under the lights.
That's going to be special. Joe, under the lights. We've been asking for football games. Got it. Now lacrosse games. It's going to be a whole different animal.
Absolutely. And with the women's lacrosse schedule, there was also the release of the men's lacrosse schedule. And this is the swan song in the A-Sun for the men's team, who will be moving back to the NEC after this season. The Colonials are 18-14 in their 2 seasons in the A-Sun, which includes a conference tournament championship and an NCAA tournament appearance. You kick off those season with the 3 exhibitions, but the notable one is against Michigan. You have the usual suspects in conference. Jacksonville and Air Force will be big games, but the Colonials will also be looking for revenge against Detroit Mercy and Mercer, who they dropped close ones to last season. You see a non-conference game there against Virginia, but definitely some familiar faces. And for their A-Sun Swan Song, we'll see what they're able to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great schedule. You see Hobart, they've had some thrillers against them. They had one last year. A lot of 1-goal games, differentials. Canisius they played last year. St. Bonaventure they played last year. And then you hit the A-Sun, where you're facing the same Utah, the same Air Force. Those two were in the finals last year at A-Sun here at Joe Walton Stadium, where Utah would end up taking that championship. But we're going to see. RMU, final year, snag that trophy, head to the NEC. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and they've had success in the A-Sun before. We'll see what they can do in their final year. Moving on to the women's track team, who was in action last weekend as they traveled 3.5 hours to Lewisburg, PA for the Golden Invitational hosted by Bucknell. Let's see how the team did in their final meet of January. Gabriella Parker led the way, second in the 60-meter hurdles with 8.84 seconds. She was also third in the 200-meter with 25.72 seconds. Maisie Fry finished third in the shot put with 12.22 meters. And we also had some other notable finishes from Reina Todero, fourth in the triple jump, 11.11 meters. Nyasia Benton, fifth in the 60-meter hurdles, 8.96 seconds. And Alicia Moore, fifth in the 400-meter, almost exactly 1 minute. Their next meet is the Denison Invitational on February 3rd in Granville, Ohio.
That's the track. I can't wait for the field, but you know what else I can't wait for, Kevin? Top 5 plays, not just of the week, of the break, and you got to see it to believe it. Stay tuned here on CSC.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, you know, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Kevin, here we go. We're ready for the top 5 plays of the break, and we are going to start it right now. Let's hit it. Number 5, we're going back to the hockey state. We get Francis Brover in net, and he's going to be facing some tough competition. Oliver Moore, as I said, first round pick by the Chicago Blackhawks. That man's going to be playing against Connor Bedard. But Brover makes the toe save. Take another look at it. He just throws it backhand. Those are tough to read, and the Colonials clear it out of harm's way.
Number 4, once again, men's hockey at Minnesota. Colonials with a 3-on-1 give and go between Kratoris and Zacher, and he gets it right place, right time, cleans up the spill. Kratoris' pass was actually deflected off Minnesota, but a nice job by Zacher sticking with it. That was the 5th goal of the season for the freshman, and we see it again here, Cam.
Yeah, this is some tough teams they're going against. Justin Cruz is top 10 in goaltending in the league, so for Zacher to score a goal on him, tough. Number 3, here we go. We got IUPUI at the UPMC Event Center, but Stephon Walker says no, slams it down on them to extend the wildly huge lead. Look at this pass by Corbin. Slows it down. Walker drives the net, and boom! Look at that. My roommate Rob in the back getting hyped, flexing.
Number 2, closing seconds against Purdue Fort Wayne. Colonials need someone to step up. His name is Josh Corbin. Cold-blooded to tie it at 78. One of Corbin's 8 threes, but it ended up only being the 2nd most important shot in this game.
Oh, tell me about this. Number 1, I have been asking it for so long. I want a buzzer beater. Marquise Hastings right there. Buzzer beater, overtime thriller. Romo running on the court, tackling everybody. It's a madhouse. Take another look. It bounces, broken play, and ding, right there for the win. Kevin, walk us through that buzzer beater and how spectacular it was.
Just unbelievable. And to come off the heels of that Corbin 3 to tie the game, it was a broken play, but the wherewithal by Hastings to pick it up and throw it in. An unbelievable win, an upset win that helped spark their winning streak.
Yes.
Now, Cam, that was the top 5 plays from break, but we got to look forward to our games to watch. Cam, you go first.
Yes, moving forward, I'm keeping an eye on that men's hockey where they are going to be taking on AIC. You know, as I said earlier, 6 of 8 against ranked opponents. But for the Colonials, it doesn't get easier. AIC, 3 of the last 4 years Atlantic Hockey champions, and they received votes. So it's going to be tough sledding. My player to watch in that game is Chad Veltri. With him and his thriller performances over the year, he has the most saves in the NCAA. 814 saves with a .917 save percentage, just outside the top 10. I'm talking about Justin Kloos for the Gophers being in the top 10. Veltri's right there with them. They need him to be on his game to steal one out and end the skid for the Colonials.
My game to watch, we're going to the hardwood. Men's basketball at Cleveland State, Sunday, 1 p.m. at the Wolstein Center, where historically the clocks haven't worked very well. It's been a nightmare for the Colonials, who have lost 8 in a row to Cleveland State, but 5 of them were single-digit losses, so they've played them close in the past. RMU just 2-7 on the road this season, but they've won 4 of their last 5, and they've had over a week to prepare for this game. If they were ever going to strike on a team like Cleveland State trying to contend for the top tier of the conference, this feels like the time. Players to watch, the emergence of TJ Wainwright has been unbelievable to see. 46 combined points his last 2 games. He's the spark off the bench the Colonials need to have firing if they want a chance to pull off the upset against Cleveland State. You got to watch out if he starts making buckets. For Cleveland State, Tristan Enaruna, he emerged as one of the better big men in the conference last year. He's backed it up this year, averaging nearly 18 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. Colonials will need to stop Enaruna. In their last meeting, he scored 23. That's going to do it for tonight's episode of Colonial Sports Center. For everyone upstairs and downstairs, that's Cameron Macariola. I'm Kevin Plaucha, and we will see you next week.